Jane that Kathy Hilton used a homophobic slur at the bar
In Aspen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Was that season 14?
Bloody property
Men
damage,
exploiting
networks
girls'
being
bad
sued.
behavior.
There were not enough people to take care of the violence. It was so bad it had to be pulled off the air. And now,
You know, when production is screaming at you like you're a kid in the principal's office because you're trying to like squash an actual beef that you have with an actual friend of yours, and they're like, no, you gotta do this on camera. I mean, that's traumatizing. And
okay. Welcome to reality in 5D,
where the tea is overflowing
and the delusion is fully financed. Let's spill. Hi, guys. Thanks for listening to Reality in 5D with Matt
and Courtney.
And our special guest in the tea room again,
Nicki, your favorite crab. Snap,
yes. I love it. They can't see our claws, but we are putting them up. Yes.
Almost the Cancer season.
Oh my God, we are.
Can't bypass
Yes.
Gemini, though. We're in our Gemini season.
That's
so
right. That's
Gemini.
right.
Whoop, whoop.
Well, are you guys ready for our weekly segment? She said what?
Of
She
course.
said what?
She said what?
She said what?
Girl! I love it. I love it. Well, we have a few topics to go over today. What should we talk about first? What are you guys feeling? Are we feeling like Beverly Hills News? Because I feel like we have a couple of those. So.
Yeah. Whose feet are we going to hold to the fire first?
Let's hold Kathy accountable first. She likes to, you know, as a friend of, kind of stay in the background. And speaking of the hose in the back.
Oh, amen. That's right. Are we talking about Pride?
Yeah, I mean,
well, first of all, happy Pride Month to everyone who celebrates. Absolutely.
June is Pride Month. Oh, so how fitting. Yes.
And Juneteenth. Juneteenth, we can't forget about Juneteenth.
Correct, yes.
But, you know, definitely want to, you know, represent all of our different families and cultures out there. And, you know, I agree 100% that Kathy was not the right ambassador to be Grand Marshal, was it, for the West Hollywood Pride Parade this year? And yeah, you're gonna choose a straight white woman who has publicly laughed at her sister coming out on national TV. Like, wrong vibe.
Not to mention,
wrong vibe.
And not to mention the allegations from both Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane that Kathy Hilton used a homophobic slur at the bar
in Aspen.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Was that season 14?
Yeah, it was Rinna's last season.
Yeah, it was
You're
not that
so right.
long
Oh, because that led to the fallout with Kyle.
Correct.
And Kathy,
the breakup of the Fox Sports 5.
She had gone on a whole tangent of speaking poorly about people and including her own sister.
So why would Kathy even be nominated for this?
That's what allegedly a ton of LGBTQ plus activists and community members have criticized immediately. I mean, the backlash hit hard from the jump.
So this was like her publicist.
They were going to boycott going to the parade at all. Like,
they also went as far to pull her ties to Donald Trump. And Kathy herself has had appearances at Trump associated events. And I feel like there's several conflicts of interest here. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where to start to unpack.
Oh God, yeah. She's like doing that thing where like she's trying to please everyone and in turn she's pleasing no one.
Well, she pulled out. Well, and I feel like that's a graceful way of putting it because the West Hollywood Pride organizers and the entire city of West Hollywood released a statement with Kathy announcing that she would no longer serve as Grand Marshal icon, instead replacing her organizers to choose to leave the position vacant this year.
Wow.
To just not fill it. If we can't have Kathy, we can't have anyone else.
It was a made-up position anyways. I mean, made up by her publicist to make her look like she was like not homophobic.
She claims her intention was to celebrate and support the LGBTQ plus community. Right. And then reiterated her long history of involvement with the LGBTQ plus causes and organizations. I would love to see that list. I don't It's 2026. Can you say you support when you vote against their best interest? I mean, if we're gonna go there.
I don't even feel like she supports her daughter who supports those like
or her
rights.
sister.
Yeah. So like, I definitely don't think that
This
Grand
was
Marshal.
definitely an attempt at an image save, and I think that the general public is just really over the fake facade. You know, like, be you, or be genuinely an authentic person who cares, or just keep it on mute.
Do you think any of the Hilton Richard sisters have the ability to draw a line between the two, though? You know what I mean?
I don't know. They prove that, like, time after time, that they don't.
Kathy
They don't.
is all about an image, and I mean, Big Kathy cultivated that into her. You know, she taught her to be that way. She taught her to constantly act and put on a show to draw attention. I don't know that Kathy knows anything else. I don't know that Kyle and Kim do either. Even when they're like crashing out and having a downfall, it's full on production mode.
I could see that. I feel like they had to compete for attention, and they still kind of do that. They compete really harshly with each other over like
It's like they
who's
make
better.
their children do that for their attention too.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. That is very sad.
I just can't believe when I read that, I was like, Kathy Hilton?
Right.
That's a reach.
Grand
Like,
Marshal?
of all people to choose, I agree. I would boycott that shit too. That couldn't be more fake. Like,
No.
I
would
would have
know who
taken.
else has been this Grand Marshal. I really feel like they just literally made up a random title and tried to like act like they were going to give it to Kathy just for her to be like, no, no, no. I will pass that along. We'll just leave that spot vacant. If they could leave it vacant, there was never a spot to fulfill.
I would have taken Erica Jane. I would have taken Lisa Rinna. That would have been iconic.
There would have been so many better people, more qualified for
Harris
that.
would have even made
Yeah.
some
More
sense.
sense.
Like, she's already doing that kind of work within the community. So I'm really
Keep
kind
it
of
cute or put it on mute.
flabbergasted.
Kathy Hilton.
Mute.
Yeah,
Put it on
especially when
mute.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Have you guys read Dorit's book yet? That just came out, what, yesterday or the day before?
Oh my gosh, June 1st was release date. I had like the whole countdown on my Spotify. Yes, yes, yes.
Are you loving it?
I was a little shocked, girl, when that price for that audiobook came down, but I was like, all right, girl.
I know.
Do your thing. Do
Girl.
your thing. I want to
$23.
support the read
That's
and
a lot of
Jackie
dollars.
and Phoenix. Yeah.
I have
No,
Spotify Premium, Dorit. Girl.
no, I know. But it's fun because I did start and I'm about halfway in, and I will get into it, but it did definitely spark, my interest because I'm loving her book so much, guys, that like I'm definitely gonna go back and listen to Erica's and listen to Lisa Rinna's. So get all the
You have
lowdown.
to. You have to. I listened to both of those and they're both really good. And kind of like we talked about off camera, you get that feel like you feel like you're in the room with them and they're telling you a story. You're getting the gossip with a friend. And we do. We've watched every episode of Housewives. This is our friend group here. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
No, for real, for real. And that's why I like listening to Dorit, tell her book in her own words, and, the way she speaks, from her heart and in her voice. It's really well done. She's done a great job. Like I said, I'm only about halfway through the book so far, but I'm really loving it. She really kind of tells a backstory of, her bloodline, a lot of her culture. Her mom comes from, her mom's family comes from Morocco. Her dad's family comes from Ukraine, Poland. Her paternal grandfather was ripped away from his family during the Holocaust, and suffered extraordinary traumas through her bloodline from that. And, her parents on her maternal side, built up, a business from nothing in Morocco. And kind of had everything and then lost and migrated through the region, during some tumultuous times during, World War II. And, it led her family to, come to America. And her mom, I think she said, was 16, had, a
Wow.
very strong accent, spoke very, broken English when she came to America. And, her and her father, just raised them to be very deep in their cultural roots and, learn their Jewish heritage. That's why she speaks Hebrew. And, they were so on board when she had proposed to them, like, look, after high school, I want to kind of go back abroad. I want to go to Italy. I want to, explore the world, and she did for about a decade and became very cultured. That's why she can speak Italian. And because her mother and her grandmother spoke Spanish because she's Latin on her maternal side. She learned how to, speak Spanish. So she's really sharing a lot of that, like, cultural side of her, which I really love. She's, getting into her whole start with, PK, of course, from, start to finish, how they met, where they met in Manhattan, and, getting married in the Rainbow Room, and how just absolutely enamored she was by him. And, and
Can
I
we
think,
touch on the cultural side of Dorit too? Because
yeah, before we move on. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like that's something that production likes to almost discredit.
Yeah,
And I feel
gloss over.
like Dorit is a fashion girl. She studied fashion. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just a girl like, okay, if we're going to stay in the Bravo universe here, it's not a Paige DeSorbo who puts on an outfit and blogs about it. Dorit studied fashion.
Right.
Dorit,
In
like you
Italy.
said, traveled abroad. She's a businesswoman. When she did land in New York, she started like an athleisure or a swimwear company or
Mm-hmm.
something along those lines.
Beverly Beach.
Well, before Beverly Beach,
Yeah,
Oh.
even before
that's how she met
PK.
PK. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's this whole cultural side to Dorit that I think that, and even not just Hollywood, the world, we like to look at fashion just because someone's dressed up, dolled up, they're pretty, they're in glam. We like to treat them like they're dumb or like there's a joke there that we're all missing. And I feel like they've almost made a joke when Dorit pops off into another language and has a conversation with the staff, but honestly, that's so respectful. You know what I mean? When you're here in America, we expect everyone to cater to us and to speak our language, and how dare them not know what I say? Like, you know what I mean? And when you have someone who's so cultured on a show like Housewives, it's kind of gross to me the way that production chooses to portray someone like her. Like, yeah, she's pretty, yeah, she can turn a look, but like they completely discredit that whole side to Dorit.
Well, they
I
make her look
agree.
annoying. They really play into Dorit as long-winded and annoying. And anytime she talks to the locals, they make it look like she's being obnoxious instead of she's being immersive or cultured. They do. They totally do
It's
make it.
gross.
Especially the girls play into that as well. So you can see that that stereotype has been pushed
And it's
for
their insecurity.
seasons now. Yeah.
Well, and she says, like, when her and PK are in their strong years, how much of a support system he really was for her, like, and how comfortable, like, she always felt just having him on her side. And, like, they would go out to restaurants, and, if he knew it was a place where they spoke a language she knew, he'd be, like, so supportive. He'd be like, give it to him, bub, like, in his English accent, the way he would speak to her. And, and you can tell the difference between somebody who's feeling, like, honored that you're attempting to communicate with someone at their level versus somebody who's, like, feeling mocked and therefore they're offended, so.
Right.
And I don't think in any capacity that Dorit comes off in that way. I think
Right.
sometimes watching Kyle speak to her housemaids makes me feel more like she's speaking at them and
And certainly her
instead of
friends.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Air
sure.
quotes.
But yeah, I mean, really great book so far. She, does talk quite a bit about PK, which of course that's been, a big part of the last 10 years of her life, the father
Of
of her
course.
children. There's so much there that's a big part of, what we just saw. in the last season of Housewives, Bev Hills. And, so of course there's a lot of chapters so far that have been about, PK. And the way she talks about him, like you could see how much she really loved and still loves him, like I think that it
Well,
gives
they have
you more of
kids.
a glimpse into like what their actual relationship was like, and not just what we got to see, those moments that really don't give you the full glimpse of who someone is, what their life is like. And they seemed really happy, which makes me even more sad for her, that like she's
Yeah.
at this place and had to go through what she did, and that her friends weren't there to support her during it as well. And
Mhm.
it's cool because she kind of touches on some of the questions that people ask her, like, talk about Pantygate. And so she gets a little bit more into that, and like how terrible she actually felt. And, how, she was really just being a little bit cheeky and funny and part of her dry sense of humor. And Erica really liked it at first. And then somehow it got spun behind the scenes, which, she gets
As
into
production
really
does.
explaining. Yeah, and she does. And she goes into like how they recruited her and what that process is like. And how you really don't have the guidance that sometimes in a real scripted, syndicated show, or as an actor or an actress, that you get the respect that you would receive on set, the safety levels that you would have on set, aren't necessarily always there in these circumstances, because they want them to be so raw, and what they call quote unquote sincere. But when production is screaming at you like you're a kid in the principal's office because you're trying to like squash an actual beef that you have with an actual friend of yours, and they're like, no, you gotta do this on camera. I mean, that's traumatizing. And it
Mhm.
definitely makes for almost even an over scripted situation to occur even after that, because
Yeah.
that's not going to be real then after that. So
Not to mention, look what it's done with the whole reality reckoning with Bethany Frankel, and you have Leah McSweeney's lawsuits against not only NBC, Universal, Bravo, but Andy Cohen, because they not only did all of those things, but they exploited like her drinking, her trauma, all of those things for a storyline, and we know that that's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is TV. I think on some level, a lot of people know that when they're going into it, but I don't think that you could fully be you can't be a viewer at home and watch what you see and know the full
well,
spectrum
they
of what's
don't
going
show
on,
that to you.
what's
They're
been
not
cut and left
showing
on the floor.
you. Yeah, and that's what's so exploitative about it, is like you can't sit here and say on one end that you want this to be so real and so authentic and so about what the human experience is really like, and then cut out all of the actual human things about it. Like you have to keep the the whole picture. And I get it. You only have so much footage that you can use in a 20 to 40 to 50-minute show, but there is definitely a lot of ways that, especially with AI now, guys, like you can't,
If
do some
we're
better
running out of
editing and
footage to the
cutting.
point that every franchise has to exploit the same drama, then we need to recast
Yeah,
or we need to reformulate, because we're 20 years in, and just like anything else, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And if we can't elevate and evolve the formula, and I'm not just talking new
right.
flashes and new, like, I love what the city's doing with, like, you're in this borough right now and you're getting the glitches in the technology
Yeah,
when
the
they're talking about
formatting.
Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I love it. That's awesome. But like, you can't elevate the tech and not elevate the content. I mean, at the end of the day, and I
Yep.
love Housewives, I love Bravo, but we are getting to a point where 20 years in that you can't push the same narrative, because now we can tell. We're catching every play in the playbook. You've got to switch it up.
Frequencies are rising, roofs are burning. Keep up,
I can't
folks.
believe it took Dorit this long to write a book. Of all the Housewives books, and Dorit's
I
got a lot to say.
And
Yeah.
she's very
Girl.
well spoken with that, Cancer, with her emotions, and then that Libra moon that, makes her very airy with her words. So, like, her book is well done. And, shame on Amanda Francis, because, like, her book is definitely written in her words. Like,
Ugh.
you could
Yeah.
tell listening to this that
Shame on
this is
Amanda.
how Dorit speaks. Like, this is how she thinks. This is her. And, I love seeing that. I really really do. She talks about Boy George, living with them because she gets a lot of questions about that. And, talks about how he kind of became one of the family. And he was actually the reason that she's on the show because she wouldn't have done it otherwise. And he was like, oh, you should do this show. And she was like, no, I don't want to. But PK was like, hey, I'm really proud of you. Keep it up, keep going. And so, she did. And I think she says she's enjoyed the journey. She's made really great friends. It's definitely changed the course of her life. And she knows the gratitude in that.
I love that. I'm excited for her.
Mhm. Can't wait to read the rest.
I know. I can't wait. I'm going to have to stop by and I'm going to have to grab this book. Sorry, we've got doors slamming in every room over here. Speaking of production, did you guys see that Sony just bought 32 Flavors, Alex Baskin's company?
I did. So what does this mean? Because it kind of made it seem like NBC Universal's gonna hang out with the California
So NBC still owns
franchises.
all of the franchises. They own the shows.
Okay.
This is what it means. It's kind of crazy because this is one of the biggest Bravo stories of the year, and it's not really being talked about. We're being overshadowed by West and Amanda and
that's there. Look over there.
yeah. So Alex Baskin,
Dude,
and he is from the Baskin, like Baskin Robbins family. So that's why
Baskin.
whatever it is, you know what I mean.
I don't know.
He's the ice cream family.
The
And
32
that's why the
flavors.
32 flavors, the whole
Johnson
spin on that. Yeah. So he sold majority stake of the production company 32 Flavors to Sony Pictures Television. The deal was announced on the 18th of May. He being Baskins, will remain CEO. I said Baskins, like Carol Baskins. I'm so weak right now. Baskin remains CEO and the current leadership team will stay in place. Why we should care is because 32 Flavors produces some of our favorite shows. We're talking Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Orange County.
The
I don't really
Valley,
watch
right?
Vanderpump Rules, but yeah, The Valley. And they are pretty smart here because they're not just buying a random production company. This is a company that is, I mean, they produce a big chunk of the Bravo universe if you think about it.
Well, it seemed
But
like that whole California sector.
yeah, but now Bravo and NBC Universal will still own the shows. They're buying the company that makes them, not the actual intellectual property that is Real Housewives. So
Oh, okay.
we shouldn't expect to see that it's presented by Sony in any way, shape, or form. It's still going to read like every other Bravo show because NBC still owns it and they control all of it.
It's just going to be their tech, their formatting, their way of
Basically
doing
his
it.
ability to create TV shows because he has created quite a few shows for other networks before this one. I think before he did 32 Flavors, he did Evolution Media.
Whoa, what's that?
The production company, remember the Evolution, whatever it says at the end of the opening of the show, he left to create this company, 32 Flavors. And 3 years later, he sold a majority stake to Hollywood Studios. So, this is what he does. He
Oh,
builds
wow.
up production companies and then he sells it.
Well, I mean, that's good. I'd love to see that actually for the Housewives and for Bravo because you've watched Hulu be able to do that for people Kardashians kind of coming from E and then moving to Hulu where they were able to kind of take over a lot of their own rights. And now if I don't know if you guys have seen that show, their newer rendition, but I mean the formatting, all of the style, of the show and the way it's presented is all seriously upgraded. So it could be a good thing for Bravo and these particular franchises that are going to benefit from that to kind of have that upgrade in terms of how that show is going to be presented. And like
I
you
do
said, I
have
think we see
to
a bit of it in the city, how they did some of those cool editing techniques.
It's kind
But
of
we'll see a lot
interesting
more.
timing though, because if you think about it, specifically the shows that 32 Flavors produces, like Vanderpump Rules, and I mean, the reboot of Vanderpump Rules is a dud.
I've never
Nobody's
even seen
watching
it,
it. No
to
one's
be
into
honest.
it. It's being canceled. You've got, well, I don't know if it is officially, but like nobody cares, like honestly. So I don't see it lasting very long. I've heard that people are annoyed with the Valley and the casting decisions that have been made with the Valley. So people are kind of annoyed with that. You're rolling off a slow season of Beverly Hills for the caliber that they were producing before that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of interesting timing for him to make that move. And I mean, we're watching a lot of businesses right now being sold for like magic numbers. Like you've got Marc Jacobs just sold for $1 billion. Like you've got these big brands that are all of a sudden unloading.
Well,
Interesting.
chaos breeds opportunity. So if, this is kind of what the Bravoverse needed, was like a revamp. And if anything, this is a great opportunity to like come back to the drawing board, look at what worked, look at what's not working, and make those adjustments, you know?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Hopefully they
when you've
bring
hit
us what
rock
we want to
bottom,
see.
there's only one way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and if you think
Yeah.
his role, like this is the guy who, like you've got Andy who hosts the reunions and you've got NBC who owns Housewives, but Alex Baskins is the guy who's deciding who gets cast, who gets fired, who's redeemed, who gets villainized. Like
Oh, he is the Bravo sphere.
this is the guy who is making those calls. And if he's owned by Sony and not NBC and Bravo, that's an interesting take. I mean, he might be like,
Isn't Sony like mafia? Like mafia vibes.
I mean, maybe, but Alex Baskin's coming off as one of the most powerful men at Bravo that doesn't actually make any money from Bravo. He's not even employed by Bravo or NBC.
Oh, what does he do?
Well, I mean, at this point, Sony owns the company. He stays on as CEO. He still makes the decisions and like cast and handles how things are produced as of right now for the
Maybe, yeah.
shows.
I was gonna say, because a lot of times when there's buyout, like Sony probably has plans to bring their own people in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Why
going
would
to
they
be
not?
interesting to see how
He
this
can take up Grand
Bravoverse.
Marshal. That is
I honestly
Hey,
think
we
he
don't
is
want to
a
speak
much
out of
better fit for
turn.
Grand
He
Marshal.
might be, yeah, he might not be the right fit either.
All right. Well, the
But I
spot
mean, out
still
of
stays
all
vacant.
folks, like, we can't find somebody within the LGBTQIA plus community that deserves that role.
Exactly.
It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, wow.
And also, in some other She Said What news, Bravo, there have been leaked pictures of both New York and New Jersey filming.
New
Ooh.
York and New Jersey?
Yeah, so I mean, what, 2-3 months, I would say that we'll have
What New
6 months
what New
tops.
York cast?
They've done a major shakeup again. They added,
Again.
yeah, again, yeah.
Third time's the charm.
Carol Radswell from the OG is coming back as a friend of, which is really interesting to me because all of the OG New York girls have signed a deal with Television and they've got their own spinoff on a different network, like the Golden Years or something like that. Golden Girls, but
Is it
Golden
Luann
Years.
and
Yeah,
Sonia? I
Luann
will watch it.
Sonia. I know. We'll have to talk about it. It's gonna be great.
I
But
will watch that, yes.
have you watched? I was gonna say you haven't watched New York and New Jersey. You might have to watch those. You're gonna have to get caught up.
Oh, yes.
I do have a question though. You
Okay.
bring up a good point about like them constantly switching out these cast members of these other franchises, but we don't see that happening with others, as much, even though maybe that needs to happen.
Name names. Spill the tea. Let's talk the
Well,
shit.
I don't know, like you said, I haven't
Uh-huh.
watched, New York. I've seen a few of the very, very like first few episodes. I need to catch up because I've been doing like franchise at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I got really into all the international franchises for a while. And then, coming back to the drawing board. But, you're willing to switch up all these New York cast members, you're willing to, switch up, other franchises, but, you're keeping the same played out narrative. Let's say in OC or Bev Hills or,
Like, why is Kyle still here 15
Atlanta,
years later and
or
you're literally giving us a half-ass storyline and no real substance? Yeah, or substance. Yeah.
Same thing with Andy Cohen.
Playing
Why has
favorites.
he not
I
been replaced
agree.
yet?
Well, listen, shit.
so like, what is the, what's the criteria here? Like, what warrants a switch up and what
It's a great question
doesn't?
because you see it.
What rubric matrix are you using to
People
measure?
are allowed to float and others are crucified after one season. I mean, okay, and a one hit wonder season or one hit wonders episode is coming, but if you look back on Carlton, okay? Carlton on Beverly Hills.
Oh man.
She had a lot to offer. Carlton was actually an actress. She had an alternative lifestyle that, especially at that time, you didn't see on TV every single day.
Right.
She could have educated people. She had more to bring, but she didn't fit Kyle's narrative. So she was axed immediately. Kyle hated her. She made it clear. She talked shit about her. And
Witchy
you've got
poo.
Kyle. What is Kyle bringing?
They
Every
never came
storyline
for
Kyle's
her.
had was someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
Her sisters, her friends.
And you can say New York got canceled because of Ramona Singer. And granted, I will give you, like, she got canceled because she was wildly inappropriate, said
Politically incorrect.
the most politically incorrect things, awful, terrible. But, like, she was always kind of that person. And remember when she threw the glass at someone? Who did she throw
Any
the glass
other
at?
job in HR would have had her fired.
And it cut her.
Kristen, it hit Kristen in the face.
She bled.
Yeah.
And Ramona is just like, oh, well, I didn't mean to hit you, but I just did. Like, girl was always unhinged, always was saying and doing the most, like, off the wall things. And she was never canceled or fired before.
To be honest, would she have even been canceled if Leah McSweeney hadn't pulled all of the alarms? Like, she literally went in and pulled every fire alarm and was like,
So
this
for
is
you to
happening,
blame
this
that
is
on
happening.
her, she had been doing all of that like every season beforehand, and it was never a problem. But then all of a sudden,
It is a good question. I would love to see the criteria because you're not listening to the fans. I can tell you that.
How is like safety lawsuits not brought this like Bravo burst down yet?
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, like would you do a show? Would you come on the show if they were like, there's a potential you might get your ass kicked and like no one's gonna come rescue you if you're bleeding and crying? You know, like
In
there's no level of
2026.
safety. There's no
Yeah.
level, but come on our show. You know, like no wonder people aren't coming out of the woodwork to want to be, you know, and I don't know. I don't know how it's going on behind the scenes. I would imagine there's probably those who are like trying to get on and then others that are like, there's no way in hell that you could ever pay me enough money.
Well, and you know, I mean, and this isn't Bravo, but like sidebar, Courtney and I have also watched every Bad Girls Club that ever was. So
It kind of
I
seems like a
can
Bad Girls
open
Club in a
that
way.
door
similarities.
of, yeah, it's a different
Uh-huh.
network, but I can open that door of reality television and I can tell you from season 1 to whatever it ended at after all the spinoffs, like what, 17? Jeez, there were a ton.
There were a lot.
It ended horribly.
Bad.
Bloody, property
Men
damage,
exploiting
networks
girls'
being
bad
sued.
behavior.
There were
Really
not
bad.
enough people to take care of the violence. It was so bad it had to be pulled off the air. And
Yeah.
now the form that exists that Natalie Nunn, the Chin, put out on Zeus Network is on a like paid platform that you have to go to watch it because they don't have real things in place, and they do have people willing to go up there and get their ass kicked. Like they go on there knowing and hoping to build a reality TV career off that alone. Like that's beyond to me. And what do you get at the end of the day? Does insurance cover that? If you go to like, oh yeah, I've lost like a couple
like
teeth,
a
got my
workers'
face
comp.
beaten. Yeah. Like
HR
do
issue.
you would think,
For
but
sure.
do you think they sign that away in their contract?
Yeah.
See, and that's where it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
they sign it away just because they want to be in the same house as the Chin.
I have
but
an idea.
I'd be like, you're paying for my behavioral health services. You're paying for all of my medical expenses.
I have a
all
want
of my
to.
tea.
Oh boy.
And you can't say no to a want to.
All right.
We need to get cast, or at least go through a casting process and get through the contract so we can get the evidence for science. We don't have to do it. We don't have
We're
to
doing
sign.
it for scientific research. Yeah.
Exactly. But
And a want to.
But
He
we want
knew
to
how to
know.
get us
We need to
on
know
board.
the meat. We need to know what's going on here. Like just going in there for science, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Not saying, just saying.
Done.
We're like Josie Grossi off Never Been Kissed. Like, you know how
Can
she
you
went back
guys
to
reach
high
out
school?
to us? Dorit's manager, Erica's manager. Can you reach out?
Right, yeah. Have your people call our people, you know our email.
And you know you've been dying to get rid of Sutton, so.
Ugh. Keep it cute or put it on mute. Sutton.
Mute.
Put it on mute.
Turn off the channel.
Man, I
Right.
almost like mentally do every time
Turn
she
the whole
talks.
TV off.
Yes.
Her and Amanda.
Which I don't think Amanda's coming back, is she?
I
Do
don't
we
know.
know
She put that
that?
whole thing out there talking about some she said what. Rihanna, front of class. I have some questions to ask you. Allegedly, Rihanna, bad girl Riri, was in Amanda Francis's DM begging her to come back and telling her to stay true, and we need people like her on Beverly Hills. What? Girl? No, we
So
don't.
she might come back just because she's fangirling over
Rihanna.
in her DMs. But how do we know this is really Rihanna and not someone like
No, it's bad girl
A
Riri. She's a
bot.
huge Bravo fan. She's very outspoken in the Bravo verse. My question is,
know, but
Rihanna, what
she's
did they
We need
lace
to get
that
her in the
blunt with?
clubhouse.
Because no,
Yeah.
ma'am. I don't know what you had in that hit, but no.
Well, then I need to see her on the clubhouse so she can explain what she
Mhm.
thinks about these things when, they're
Yes.
quizzing them on,
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not gonna just
what
pop
they
up
know,
in
what they
the
think. I
DMs.
want to hear her opinion
Hmm.
for
Front of the
sure. And that's why
class. We
she
need to
needs to
know.
be, yeah, interesting, check, like all of it. Like, I want to hear her opinion.
Also, why does she not own that network at this point if she's such a fan? Why
Right.
do we have Sony buying them out and not Rihanna? I'm so confused.
Man.
Make it make sense.
We
There's
already pitched for
some
her to be on Bev Hills.
deep-seated, yes, but I think there
I
is
want her
some
to say,
deep-seated
Kathy, move
stuff.
over and slap her with her wallet.
I think there's been like these like two camps that have been created in Hollywood behind the scenes, and you're either like Camp Kardashian, like
Ugh.
that crazy shit, or you're like anybody else trying to do it outside of that.
Hmm.
And I
Sounds very
think
Holocaust.
it's
Well, we're going to be the
very,
glamp.
Yeah.
yes, bio communications warfare type shit for sure.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Sounds
That's
relevant to
why Kathy Hilton can, go somewhere else. We don't need her on the Housewives show anymore. Sorry, in my
catch the
opinion.
Agreed.
image.
We're just putting that out in the universe, manifesting it.
Hmm. For
Yeah,
the
I mean, with
Bravo
her
sphere.
and Sutton gone, at least, then and with Amanda, that leaves you 3 open spots. Like, think about the incredible options you have.
Ooh, we could do a whole episode on this.
How about us
Our
3?
pitch to Sony and Alex Baskin.
And
Yes.
Rihanna, I'm not leaving her off the table.
I would
She could
watch.
come in and just like, phew,
I would watch it. I mean,
buy out.
let's be real, we're gonna watch it. But
We're
yeah,
gonna watch it
Love it.
I love it too. Well, that's really all the she said what I think that we have today.
today.
For
Today.
today, there'll
Yeah.
certainly be lots more to come.
Lots of
Yes.
tea to spill, I'm sure.
Tomorrow's a new day, a new dawn.
Well,
New
thank you
trumpet.
guys for listening to Reality in 5D with Matt.
Courtney.
And
Nikki.
yes. Bye guys.
Bye.
Peace
Peace
out.
out.